Well, today is April 22nd, 2026, and the world is definitely in motion. We've got a fragile ceasefire that's just been shattered in the Persian Gulf. Markets are reacting all over the globe. And on Earth Day of all days, we're seeing these incredible stories of both devastating loss and amazing new life. Let's get into it and break down what you need to know. So, we're going to start in the Persian Gulf because a real moment of hope there was just shattered almost as soon as it began. There was this fragile ceasefire, right? A little glimmer of de-escalation, but it only lasted a single day before things took a really dramatic and aggressive turn. All right, first up, global flashpoints. We're going to take a look at the regions where tensions are really ratcheting up and the stakes feel highest right now. And this is the footage that brought that fragile ceasefire to a screeching halt. Iranian state television broadcast this video of masked soldiers literally rappelling from a helicopter onto international cargo ships. It's such a dramatic escalation, and it's put the entire region right back on high alert. Meanwhile, the conflict in Eastern Europe just grinds on. Take a look at this number, 1,789 square miles. That is the amount of territory that Russian forces have captured in the last year alone. To put that in perspective, that's nearly 1% of Ukraine. Just a stark reminder of the constant, slow-moving toll this war is taking. And, the human cost isn't just measured in territory. 8. That's how many journalists and media workers have been killed in the conflict in Lebanon. The latest casualty was Amal Khalil, a very respected journalist killed in an Israeli strike. It's just a devastating loss and a reminder of the incredible danger people face just trying to report the truth from the front lines. Of course, conflict also has these powerful political ripple effects. So following the election of Rumen Radev in Bulgaria, you have analysts sounding the alarm. And this quote really gets to the heart of the concern, that a new pro-Russian foothold is being established right inside the European Union that could potentially alter the bloc's delicate balance and its united front. So these geopolitical flashpoints, they don't happen in a vacuum, right? Next up, let's look at the economic shockwaves and explore how a conflict in one part of the world can ripple through entire industries and markets thousands of miles away. That escalation in the Strait of Hormuz, it's not just a military issue. It is a critical economic one. And one of the first industries to really feel the impact has been global travel. And the impact is just staggering. Major airlines have been forced to cut as many as 20,000 flights. And the reason why? Severe jet fuel shortages, which are a direct consequence of the instability in the Gulf. I mean, this affects everything from business travel to family vacations to vital supply chains. This kind of volatility creates a really high-stakes environment where some companies manage to thrive while others completely falter. So the question becomes, in a market this unpredictable, who's riding the wave and who's getting swept away? And today, we are seeing two very, very different stories play out. On one hand, you've got Tesla just blowing past expectations, reporting an incredible $1.4 billion in free cash flow. And then on the other, you have Spirit Airlines getting battered by that fuel crisis, and now they're reportedly close to needing a government-facilitated rescue just to stay in the air. And those economic pressures are being felt all over. Over in the EU, countries are really struggling to refill their natural gas reserves for the winter, and prices are staying stubbornly high. But, even as the world is grappling with today's energy problems, it's also looking to the future. The Global TSMC Technology Symposium just kicked off, and there, the focus is all about building the next generation of AI. Okay, so beyond the immediate crises, some really big, long-term decisions are being made. Our third section is all about shaping our future, taking a look at the policies and the health debates that are going to have an impact for decades to come. In the UK, a truly historic piece of public health legislation is moving forward. The goal is to create a smoke-free generation. The goal is as ambitious as it sounds, to basically phase out smoking for good. So how is it going to work? Well, this landmark bill, which passed today, sets a cutoff. If you were born after December 31st, 2008, you will never be able to legally buy tobacco in the UK. Now, the effects won't be immediate, of course, but by 2040 or so, the country expects to really see the results of this decision. So while the UK is looking decades ahead, a much more immediate public health debate is unfolding right now in the United States, and it's centered on some very contentious topics: new outbreaks and vaccine safety. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was on Capitol Hill today, and he was facing some pretty intense questioning from lawmakers. The hearing really focused on two key areas: the administration's handling of a new measles outbreak and his own well-documented public stance on vaccine safety. And shifting to the world stage, there was another powerful call to action. As he wrapped up his tour of Africa, Pope Leo used his final address in Equatorial Guinea to issue this really strong appeal, urging nations to make significant improvements to global prison conditions. And he framed it as a fundamental issue of human dignity. All right, for our final section, we're going to turn to the planet itself. And today, on Earth Day of all days, we have seen this powerful and kind of poignant contrast between environmental disaster and profound hope. So, the environmental news today has been really grim. In the U.S. Southeast, you've got these fast-moving wildfires that are forcing mass evacuations as dozens of homes are destroyed. And in West Virginia, a deadly chemical leak has tragically left 2 people dead and many more hospitalized, kicking off a major investigation. It's a heavy toll to absorb, but amidst all that destruction and the loss, today also brought a powerful symbol of renewal, just a moment of pure, simple joy. Over in Washington, D.C., the Smithsonian's National Zoo officially introduced its newest resident to the world, a baby elephant, taking its first steps out in public. You know, it's a small piece of good news in the grand scheme of things, but on Earth Day, it feels especially significant. And that kind of brings us to our final thought for the day. Today's headlines have shown a world of conflict and innovation, of disaster and brand new life. It leaves us with a pretty critical question, doesn't it? How do we balance that urgent need to respond to crisis while still carving out the space to create those moments of progress that give us all hope? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us.